Today we're visiting Monmouth Castle.
Monmouth Castle was established by William FitzOsbern in the late 11th century as an earth and timber ringwork fortress.
It was part of a chain of castles and was presided over by a Monmouthshire lord, a noble appointed by the king to guard the border between England and Wales.
It's a Grade 1 listed building and a scheduled monument, which is a nationally important archaeological site.
The stonework you see now wasn't added until the late 12th century, and the tower was built around the same time.
It has seen a fair bit of use. Edward II, a king who was deposed in 1327, was held prisoner here for a brief spell before being moved on.
It was also the birthplace of Henry V, which either occurred in 1386 or 1387.
In the rebellion of Owen Glendower, it remained unaffected, as it was seen as too powerful to breach. But other local towns were attacked.
However, it did see action in the English Civil War. It changed hand 3 times in the melee and ended up in the hands of the parliamentarians in 1645 until Oliver Cromwell ordered it to be slighted or put out of military action.
The Round Tower was attacked in 1647 and it collapsed.
The bailey gradually fell into use as a marketplace and morphed into what is now Agincourt Square.
After a partial collapse, the Regimental Museum of the Royal Monmouthshire Royal Engineers moved in. So here's a prime example of a Caddo property of which there is not much, because it really is, there's a few walls left. I mean, it's 4 or 5 walls. But still, somebody's got to look after these places because it is of huge significance when you think about the history that happened here. This is the birthplace of Henry V. I mean, that's important, don't you think? Admittedly, there's not much left. In fact, they think he was born in the little bit behind me, and that's about it. But if you are just passing, it's worth popping in, or if you're doing what we're doing and visiting all of them, obviously it's one that you have to tick off your list. So of course at one time it was a big castle. I mean, you can actually see if you wander out to Agincourt Square, which is quite away from here really. That was the bailey, this would have been the motte, and there's a big gap in between the two things, so big castle.
Monmouth Castle, short but sweet.
Yeah, that was very quick. There's not a lot to it, but it's fascinating to see. Monmouth is a lovely town. It's got all sorts of little nooks and crannies that you can wander into, and this is one of those. It's also next to the Regimental Museum, which is obviously worth a bit of a look. For such a very small space, there's a lot of history, and the building itself has an awful lot of things that are really worth seeing. There's some really stunning stonework here.
If you're having a nosy through the town, it's worth just popping up to have a look. You don't have to digest too much, it's just you can take it all in, appreciate it for what it is, and then move on.
Yes, it does seem to be what people are doing. While we've been here, there have been an awful lot of people coming and going, so it's obviously a popular one. Short but sweet. That is certainly Monmouth Castle for you. Anyway, that is it from us. There's little for us left to do other than to say thank you very much to our patrons over at Patreon, who are the people who make all of this possible. What else?
If you haven't already, don't forget to click that subscribe button. See you next time.
TTFN.